What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Dubkast. It is October 6th. We are officially in spooky season. That is right. It is October. Y'all should be excited. Fall is coming around. The leaves are going to be hitting the ground, and we're going to be hitting the ground running with some new games, TV shows, and other fun stuff to get into. But before we dive into that, I am your host, your boy, Trent, otherwise known as Dirty Assault. And of course, I'm joined by my co-host.
Toxic Jedi, baby.
That's right. We got J Rock in the house, the one and only Toxic Jedi. Now, you know, I, just to start this thing off, have been checking out some stuff on Netflix and some other streaming platforms that, just to recap on, I think everybody else out there has probably checked out too, because the only reason I checked it out happened to be because I couldn't get away from TikTok and I couldn't get away from Facebook without ruining episodes for myself. But have you guys heard about the new show Squid Game? Anybody?
That
Yeah.
thing's a trip.
Yeah. Basically, a lot of rumors, a lot of fan theories going on out there. I've checked out so many. Listen, guys, I'm not going to ruin this show for you as much as I want to and tell you everything there is to know about this show and exactly what happens. That's not for me to tell you. What I can tell you is the premise of this show. It basically takes the main character through. It takes place in South Korea, right? And he's down on his luck. He's broke. He's got a gambling problem. He's run the credit card dry and he's on his last leg, doesn't know what to do. And basically, he is approached by somebody that gives him an opportunity. And it's just a simple offer to come and play some games. And the winner of the entire tournament wins money. Seems fair enough. I mean, who can't take that offer? Free money? Okay. And so he signs, well, he gives him a call, which basically signs him up for this competition. And he's the very last person to join. So you guys got to check it out for yourself and kind of see where this story takes its place. It gives you one season, 9 episodes. They play a series of games. That's all I'm going to tell you because it gets freaking crazy. And man, I've seen so many cool, fun fan theories that I'd love to get into, but I just don't want to ruin stuff for you guys. But I can tell you that the show took me through a roller coaster of emotions, and it was well worth my time invested into it. If you are okay with watching something that's dubbed, because you will see a lot of over there. And
Yeah.
so that's just something to expect. If you can get over that, it's definitely worth it. But I know you were checking it out too, right, Jeremy?
Yeah, I finished it.
Yeah, I finished it as well. I was pretty
Yeah, I do.
pretty sad when it was over with, but what are you gonna do?
There was only like one episode that really like hurt my feelings. And I feel like it's a pretty common episode between everybody.
Yeah, there was quite a few parts that I felt like really you could be on the fence emotionally on which way you were leaning or which way, whether you felt things were right or you felt things were wrong. Yeah, I just gotta say it's worth the watch. I feel like Netflix always has these shows that just capture everybody's attention. Everybody dives into them in like a week or two. It's just nothing but scrolling through, seeing spoilers, and so you eventually are pulled in and you watch it for yourself. This is one of them. But on to some news about other media type things. I think you guys that are fans out there are probably aware of on the Disney side of things. Keep your eyes out for a new show coming out. Did you guys happen to watch The Mandalorian? I know you did, because if you didn't, I mean, who are you?
Yeah.
Listen, as somebody that is very slightly interest interested in Star Wars, I don't even like. I mean, Star Wars is what? Nothing to me. No, but anyways, somebody that's very interested in Star Wars, I'm sure you guys are just as interested. And you checked out The Mandalorian. Great show. Well, here is the first spinoff. We know that we get a lot of these shows that kind of create a series of other potential mini series or mini shows that kind of give you more information, i.e., Game of Thrones, right? Game of Thrones was this big show. And since the release and the final airing of that show, there's been tons of rumors about little spin-off shows that might be coming out. One of the biggest one is the House of what is it, Targaryen?
Targaryen, yeah.
Yeah. So I know that that's a big spin-off show that they've really considered. And so with The Mandalorian, its first spin-off show is going to be the Book of Boba Fett. Now, the reason this show is going to be interesting, guys, is because, like I said, it's a spin-off of The Mandalorian, and it features the bounty hunter Boba Fett. Now, that's an obvious right giveaway, but what it's going to do is it's just going to take you through the story line of this bounty hunter, kind of leading up to his point where he is basically a figure in the main in the show, especially because if you guys, spoiler alert, have watched the show, you know that it kind of hints at maybe some future endeavors or maybe future partnerships going on with the Mandalorian, or certain things like that. If you are a fan of Star Wars, then you know in general that Boba Fett had a pretty cool little storyline going through the first couple trilogies, and well, the first, yeah, and getting ahead of myself here. And you might know a little bit about Jango Fett as well. But the Boba Fett is one of those characters that I felt like was bigger than probably what people would give it credit for. You know what I mean? When you think of like bounty hunters, I don't think you're kind of walking around thinking of Greedo or Hammerhead or Walrus Man, despite how cool they might have looked. um, you know exactly who you're thinking of. So, anyways, you guys should definitely go check that out. I'm pretty excited because I actually have two cats. Little story about myself. My cats' names are Django and Boba. So if that's not a dead giveaway of why I'm excited for this show, no, but The Mandalorian, I think they did a really good job with that show. And so I'm really eager to see what they can do with a good spinoff. And Disney seems to be handling themselves really well on the TV series side of things. With that included, before I kind of transition off, you guys can expect this show December 29th. Okay. That's going to be the first episode, December 29th. So be ready for that. Spinning off of that, what I mean by Disney being so good, if you're looking for shows to watch, Loki has been great. Winter Soldier has been great. Uh, uh, the WandaVision has been great. There's been so many TV shows that I feel like Disney has come out with on their Disney Plus app that's been really, really good. Great acting and great storyline and premises. So I don't look at this show to be any less. So definitely be on the lookout for that as well for your guys' viewing pleasure.
I think season 2, The Witcher, comes out in December as well.
Yes, season 2 of Witcher, dude. I am so excited for that. I mean, from somebody, I never beat Witcher, and
What?
the biggest reason I never beat it is because I don't know if it was an issue with my system, like my PlayStation at the time, or what. I got to a certain point in the game that would crash every time I played it. And so there was no way I could get out of it. And I was just at a point where I'm like, man, I'm just not going back. But The Witcher seems to be one of those games that they just continue to try to better the graphics, And I would not be surprised if The Witcher gets a remaster. I would not be surprised, especially building with all of this rumored like TV show, like all not the rumors, but the hype around the TV show. I felt like it did really good.
Yeah.
Especially in a way that you're always really weary about live action, right? I feel like we're always like, man, should we really go live action with this? But the Witcher being a game that is all about just kind of walking. I mean, there's a storyline to it, but it's all kind of about walking around doing random missions. Red Dead Redemption, Fallout, Skyrim, all these games. Am I saying that they should have a live action? No, I'm not. But I am saying that all those games I could easily see having a TV show, because you don't even have to pick the main storyline. You could literally just go have somebody in a nuclear waste ridden world walking around doing missions, going against ghouls and shit like that, and it be Fallout. Game of Thrones, a world like that. Boom, you got Skyrim. He's a dragonborn. You don't have to do a whole lot, but
Dang, Game of Thrones is actually just Skyrim.
Yeah. I mean, kind of, right? She controls dragons.
Yeah, Daenerys Targaryen. Yeah, I mean, Dragonborn, baby.
Yeah, we're on to you. No, but yeah, I just think that The Witcher did such a good job with its action in that show. Seeing the knife or the sword, just I'm like, whoa, okay, this is how we're doing this show. So,
hey, time out real fast. White Walkers do make the Draugr.
All right, guys, fan theory of the week. Game of Thrones. What is it?
Skyrim.
What is it? Is it George R. Martin?
George R. Martin.
Yeah. Really just stole The Witcher. Or
Huge
really just stole
Skyrim
and just wrote a book just slightly different.
Yeah.
The houses. Are we not going to talk about the fact that the houses could just be
like the different families?
The different families, the different.
Dude, hold on. So like what would be oh crap, I can't think of it.
So like the Tyrells would just be, or House Lannister would just be the high elves, right? Because aren't they rich? And I'm trying to think of who all they.
I thought you were talking about like holds, like Winterhold.
No, I know. I'm trying to think about where the high elves were though, because it's like the rich place.
Oh, the high elves were just the Thalmor and Skyrim. They were the not invaders, but pretty much like the outsiders. Because remember, Skyrim was just hella racist, bro. If you weren't Nord, they weren't about it.
That's true. That is true.
But if you think of the whole map of Cyrodiil,
yeah,
I mean, really.
You got Winterhold, you got Riften.
Yeah.
You've got what is it? Starts with an M. God, what is it? I haven't played in forever.
Mournhold?
Yeah. Something like that. And then where's the church, or not the church, the school of magic?
I think that's Winterhold.
Is that Winterhold? No, I thought
because there's Winterhold, and then there's the one like straight to the east of it that's still on the ice, and that's where like the Stormcloak's base is.
Are we calling that the North Wall? No.
Are we just gonna walk past this?
Yeah. I think there's something to this. No. Fan theory of the week. So lots of cool shows that are going to be coming out that are definitely worth watching. This is not video game related, but I have to throw this out there, guys. If I'm going to talk about game or shows I can suggest, let me just do a slight plug here for my favorite Netflix series of all time. You guys really should just go watch Peaky Blinders, but that's besides the point. I'm just going to try to plug that show in whenever I can. But anyways, I'm trying to transition out of this, man. We've got a lot to get into today. A lot of big releases and a lot of big updates that we've been kind of talking about getting into. First thing I want to really just kind of dive into, Jeremy, you went live today on your stream. For those of you that were able to check that out, you guys know that there's some big stuff happening this weekend, and that is if you are an EA Play member, or you are somebody that pre-ordered the game, you have a couple days early access to the beta for Battlefield 2042. We've been talking about this game for the last couple of months. We've talked about some of the updates, some of the released pictures, still images, the trailers, all this stuff, right? And it's led up to the beta. What is the beta going to provide for us? If you're looking at TikTok, if you're looking at live streamers, whether that be Facebook Gaming or Twitch, you know that there's a bunch of stuff going on right now where people are just playing the hell out of this. So let's go ahead, unpack this. Jeremy, you got to play this a little bit. I got some notes here that I'll go over in a second, but I just kind of want your first impression. I know that you loaded into it today as soon as you got home, because I texted you a link to check out a stream, and you're like, as soon as I get home, I'm downloading this game. I'm like not even home yet, and I see Toxic Jedi has gone live. The betrayal. So what were your first impressions, man? Diving into an old game that I say old, but I mean Battlefield 5 has been out, but you get the point. A game that we've cherished for so long, and finally you've got a little taste of the beta.
Dude, so I'll just put like this. My first game loaded in, it was just as chaotic as this trailer show it. I jumped in, it was like a minute or two after the first start, so everyone's kind of establishing their bases. And I just hopped in a vehicle with this dude, and shit you not, Battlefield never changes. It's kind of like the Fallout logo where they're like, oh, war never changes. Because it sure the hell doesn't, bro. Jump in the vehicle with this guy. We're hauling ass to point B, and then just out of nowhere, man, he jumps out, and I'm like stuck in the camera for the guns. I'm just like looking around, and we ramp off this rock, come crashing into a building, and like there's had to be at least 10 guys trying to capture this flag, and I'm like trying to mow them as fast as I can. And they're like blowing up the vehicle. So I hop out, dude, and I just pull out my like rocket launcher and shoot the ground. I kill myself, but everybody with me. That was like the first 2 minutes.
What a way to just dive into the game too, right?
Right. No, dude, it has been amazing. Like it's still the same old Battlefield. So Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, if you're familiar with it, same stuff. But I'll tell you, man, like playing on PC, whipping out that gun customizer, whatever they call it, was so smooth, man. Like I was whipping out like 4 time scopes. When I was coming up on an area that I knew was a little bit more tight, I'd switch to iron sights real fast. And I mean, dude, it was just like so smooth. Your guy would just tuck away the gun, pull it out, and it has all the attachments you want on it.
That was one thing that I really enjoyed seeing. If you're out in the open, there's so many different terrain changes, right?
Yeah.
You got little areas that are, because the map they have you play on is this huge island, and there's parts of it that you're just kind of out in the open. You might be in some trees, some grass, maybe behind some kind of hill type area landscape, and then there's other areas that you're just smack dab in the middle of like all these buildings, like a town. And so depending on where you're at, it's going to be a huge advantage to be able to real time switch and change those attachments. So it's really awesome that they implemented that. And one thing I noticed from watching you and other people is that transition where you do make that change is very smooth. Now, granted, getting used to that system is going to take a little bit, to where you're like, and somebody's going to be running up behind you and taking you out, you know.
Yeah.
I did notice some of that where people are getting executed. They're like, let me change my gun. But for the most part, it's very smooth, and I really like that they implemented that, because if there's one thing that's always frustrated us with any game, it's that you're constantly like shit, dude, I should have went with this gun, or whatever. And you
Yeah.
have to kill yourself, or you just kind of have to wait all the way until you get killed, and before you can make that change. And that can sometimes be frustrating.
Yeah. No, man, I mean, and every game's gonna have their little niche or problem or whatever. But dude, like it had like the perfect nostalgia level for me, and it was still something new. And I mean, don't worry either, because you know how they're showing off all these tornadoes and natural crazy events. People are like, oh, this is just a little too much for me. I only had one encounter with the tornado through the entire time I played, and I saw it multiple times. But that damn map is so big, dude. You can even go through an entire firefight and not even realize that it's happening on the other side.
Yeah, it's crazy how big that map is.
Yeah.
So I got a couple notes here. I just kind of want to briefly go over so that you guys understand what to expect in this beta, that you might not have been able to really dive into enough information about this game. One of the biggest things, Jeremy kind of touched on, this game looks beautiful. Now, granted, this is going to really matter whether you have the proper graphics card, if you're going to be able to push this power. Personally, me, I wasn't even able to get into the beta because my graphics card wasn't good enough. I'm trying to fix that. But as of right now, I'm just enjoying watching people, and the graphics look beautiful. One of those big things I feel like people like, especially if you're going to be a sniper, is ghillie suits, and the
Hmm.
texture of the grass and just the greenery in general, the trees. It really makes it to where I feel like it's a lot easier to blend in. I don't know if you can attest to that. Trying to find people from a distance or just seeing people, it's easier kind of to blend in, which is good. I like that I can maybe be laying down and have a little bit of cover naturally, like with grass, like you should be able to. But more importantly, just the way that the game looked in terms of the buildings and the vehicles all looked really, really good. So I did notice that there was an issue people were having with pinging things. Hopefully they get this fixed, but trying to highlight an enemy from afar or trying to highlight a vehicle, it wasn't working. Some people said that it would only work for vehicles. Other people, it was just putting down like little white dots on the ground, and it wasn't working. So hopefully they can fix that issue. Another thing that's really interesting, guys, we've talked about the amount of people that are going to be in this game, right? This is going to be a big game. It's not going to be small. You're going to get into these encounters that are 64 v 64. I want you to think about that for a second. That is a lot of bodies, a lot of bodies. And so what this game has done to basically balance that out. If there's one thing that we all hate, it's having to go into a game 10v20 because your teammates leave. So the way that they balance this is actually you're going to encounter AI. There is a way that they balance the game by doing so. So somebody you may kill, I believe it will let you know, but you'll be encountering AIs. You'll get AI kills. You'll notice that somebody's just acting a little weird, just straight up driving, and like, where's this guy going? But I mean, it's smart AI too. I'm sure that it's engaging with people, not just running solo. But there has been previous battlefields where they've tried to implement this AI system, and it's been a clash of who can get the most AI kills. That part I'm worried about. But all in all, from what I've seen, people are having a pretty good experience as is, just with the combat. And I think that this is going to be a game that, personally, there's going to be so many people that are excited for it, mainly for the aspect of Portal, where you're going to be able to access some of these older Battlefield games as well, like Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3, that people were huge fans of. And so you can expect that there's going to be a little bit of high volume. Now, granted, one thing I was watching, one of my favorite streamers is Stone Mountain 64. I'm sure a lot of you out there also watch him. And one of the things I noticed in his stream that he mentioned that I think is worth talking about. If you guys are younger, not to bash you, but you never really got to experience the beginning stages. I hopped into Battlefield on Bad Company, right? I hopped into Call of Duty on Call of Duty Big Red 1, Call of Duty 4, the original Modern Warfare. And for people, you should understand that this is going to be a PUBG versus Fortnite thing. This is going to be a who is better than the other. And to that conversation, all I can say is this: if you don't enjoy the game, don't play it. If it doesn't look like it's the game for you, don't play it, because this is a real life war simulator. Obviously, it's got some mechanics that are not exactly real life, but to what I can say is that you're going to have drop when you shoot your guns from a distance. When you're sitting on a hilltop and you're shooting into a city, you can't just line your reticle straight up with somebody and it's going to just drop them. That's not how this game works. You're going to have to adjust for distance. You're going to have to adjust for, like the wind and stuff like that. That is the way that this game has been made to play. They want it to feel realistic. That's why you have walls and stuff that are going to be destructible, or if that's even the right word, but you know what I'm saying. You're able to knock them down, drive cars through. That's what this is. Call of Duty is in its own right a good game as well, but it's going to be more of a fast-paced simulator, arcade like shooter. It's those instant satisfaction games that are quick. This is not that. This is going to be 45-minute longer paced games, right?
Oh, dude, it took me an hour to finish one of my matches.
Yeah, I mean, that's what these games are. And so all I'm trying to say, I don't want to get on too much of a tangent, but listen, you're going to play this game and you're going to have friends that hate on it. And it's just because Battlefield and Call of Duty for so long have always been versus each other. And I don't think that enough people saw that with some of the more recent versions of these games, because there was kind of that weird spot where Call of Duty went futuristic and Battlefield went back in the day, and it kind of went back and forth. But now they're kind of going back to this modern warfare aspect, and they're going to go neck and neck. Personally, if you're somebody that has not got a chance to play, Battlefield is in every right worth checking out. The vehicles, the plane, the jets, all that stuff, extremely cool. Rant over. Just know these are two very different games, and for some people, they're not going to like how slow-paced Battlefield plays.
Yeah, you got to be a team player to play Battlefield. If you're that guy who's just, if you're that guy who's like, yo, I can take on a whole team by myself, you guys are just bodies. You're not going to survive on Battlefield. I can tell you that. You're not that guy, pal.
You're not that guy. Yeah, especially because even in the old Battlefields, I mean, man, me and you would literally try to build a team. We would be, hitting up friends. Hey, what do you like to play as on Battlefield? I know this seems, goofy, but I mean, it's serious. I enjoyed playing as either support or medic. People like playing as assault. Some people like playing as sniper. If you have a crew, I'm just saying, if you're playing an objective based game like Battlefield on a big grand scale, you can have a whole squad that's playing as snipers. Yeah, it's fun for you, whatever. But if you're playing these game modes and you're really trying to win, you want somebody that's rocking medic. You want somebody that's rocking support, so that they're going to be able to give ammo to your sniper, ammo to your assault class, so that they're constantly able to blow up vehicles. If you got somebody like an assault that's going to be running driver, well, okay, I'm going to go a little bit back in the day, but you used to have a guy that was just a repairman that would literally hop out. Yeah, engineer that would literally pop out.
Fucking torched.
Yeah, sit there, repair your vehicle. You'd be flying in a helicopter, and you see smoke, and he'd hop to the back of the helicopter, just like be leaning out and trying to heal it. You're like, all right, bro, we could go back into battle. But it's one of those games that really feeds. It really tries leaning into that, helping each other out, feeding each other the necessary individual classes to be a unit. And so all I'm saying is it's not one of those that it's not going to be good if you're just, maybe it's fun for you. I don't know. Everybody's different. Maybe it's fun for you to be that guy that just wants to go in and get all the kills, and it's very possible we get into those moods too. But
Play Assault.
yeah, play Assault. But there are game modes like we used to play Rush. I know that they announced that Rush wasn't going to be in this one, but it's like tug of war, and you're going to lose every time if you're not working together on those tug of war based games.
Yeah.
Every time. Man, big rant, Look, I love both. I love both games. I'm bigger into Battlefield more than I am Call of Duty, but I think Call of Duty in its own right has done some really good things recently. Warzone, arguably one of the best survival based games. In my opinion, I think that they did a really good job starting off. Now, granted, I know that we've had that conversation before too, but they've done some really good things too. And Battlefield, we've been waiting quite a while, so we got high expectations.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of weird because Battlefield went to like what everyone wanted, and Call of Duty reverted to World War II, even though Battlefield just got off of World War II.
Yeah, and so did Call of Duty. I mean, Call of Duty released World War II, and then they're like, okay, now we're releasing Valheim. We're like,
Vanguard.
Or Vanguard. Getting ahead of myself. Yeah. But yeah, they released Vanguard, and you're like, didn't you just do that?
Yeah.
I know it's slightly different. And actually, I've heard some people really like Vanguard. And I haven't had a chance to check it out yet. But, if you enjoy it, good. But just know that there's going to be that separation. There's some people that just aren't going to love this game. And there's nothing more you can really say. That's just, it is what it is. But let's not try to focus too much on that stuff. Jeremy, did you get a chance to check out this grappling hook? Because from what I've seen, it looks smooth. I've actually seen people yank people out of helicopters with them. I don't know if that was intentional, but the grappling hook looks good. And along with that, I noticed the zip lines look good too. Animations, the motions out of them, the speed in which you use them, all really satisfying. If there's one thing we've all hated, it's using a zip line and and then like 5 seconds to get off the thing. This seems to be really quick, really smooth transitioning. So I really like seeing that from this game.
Yeah, I've used the grapple hook and the zip lines. The grapple hook, so badass, dude. It's not like Halo Infinite badass where they're being Spider-Man, because there is a certain range that you can only shoot from.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's so badass, dude, because I was hiding in a bush, shot it on a rock, so I jumped a gap, and then I like came up right behind an enemy team that was working together because they were like 4-man stacking up. Dude, I just gunned them down from behind, and before they knew where I was, I mean, they were all dead.
Yeah.
So I mean, it can really turn the tide. Like your assault class really becomes a front man, and that grapple hook really defines what that front man is.
Another thing I noticed that was kind of really nice about it is when you talk about how big these maps are and just the type of terrain you're dealing with. I've seen some people encounter like kind of pretty vertical hills that they're not able to walk up, and instead of taking the long journey all the way around it,
just shoot that shit up.
They're able to just kind of shoot it up, get to the top of it. They're like, boom. So I see that being a really good and beneficial feature of the game.
Well, dude, and what's pretty cool on the beta is you can switch it up. So like no longer is the assault class bound to rocket launchers or anything. Like you can have an assault rifle and run defibrillators.
Oh, that's
like it's really awesome. Trippy. I kind of don't like that in a sense of like, because now there's not really any roles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there will be in a sense of like, hey Trent, carry the defibrillator. I'll carry the ammo. I guess that does make it okay. But I mean, you could have a sniper running defibrillators, and then on his way catching up to the group, he just picks you up.
It's almost more infuriating, right? Because you know that there's so many potential medics and you still won't get revived.
Right. Like you can't. Yeah. And from an enemy standpoint, you won't be able to identify him anymore.
Oh, true, because yeah, they had the cross above their head on like Battlefield 1.
Yeah. So well, like
Oh, Battlefield 5 too.
so the beta starts out with like each character is assigned different things. Like so the medic is traditionally the old lady or grandma as I was
So I'm gonna have
calling
to
her.
play as an old lady. Are you serious?
So, but I mean you don't
Get
have
up, Sonny. Why are you laying down?
right.
Oh!
So it was just a little weird because like I was playing I had a ghillie suit on because I was sticking around in the grassy knoll area, but I had a rocket launcher. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it was my first day playing, so I can't say I'm like in tune with the game. But if you can switch it up like that, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities. Because I would almost put the grappling hook on a dude with an LMG. Now all of a sudden the LMG ain't lagging behind, and you got
Yeah.
200 bullets pushing down range up in your face. That's kind of a scary fucking thing if you're the opposing team.
Yeah, no kidding, especially with that kind of firepower with
Yeah,
the coupling of its kind of damage to vehicles.
yeah. Oh no, dude. We had an instance in our match. I'm not sure where the location is for people who have played the beta, but it was like this giant section of a highway in the middle, and my team was taking place in like the ditch on the side. And no shit, there's like 64 of us, probably the whole team hiding in this ditch. And then on the opposing side of the highway on that ditch was the other 64.
Oh
And
no.
dude, yeah, like people are just popping up and like trying to like make way for people to cross and trench warfare.
No
But
man's land.
exactly, bro. And that was the thing is during like one big push, someone like came over to calm. He's like, "All right, rush." And you just see like 20 people just trying to book it. I was one of them. I was running across and I got sawed down. And I
Oh
knew it.
no.
Yeah, I knew it. I was like, I'm in no man's land, dude. I'm not getting picked up. Because you got like that animation now where your guy's like, help, oh, pick me up, pick me up. And then if you like just hold whatever button,
It's not like
to,
Battlefield 1 when you're like the medic's just running around with the needle. He's like, get up.
yeah. Well,
Everyone's like,
now,
oh, okay, cool.
yeah. So now it's not like you equip the needle or defibrillators. Because remember in Battlefield 3, the medic would just be like,
Yeah.
like now you have to approach the body and hold a button, and then your
Uh,
guy's like, zzz, boom. And so they made it where you can't come back as fast. But one thing I will say is when you come back from that defibrillator, you remember that bullshit screen where your guy would be like, and be like that bright light, and then people just shoot you in that animation.
yeah.
That does not exist anymore,
You're just up and gone.
bro. Bro, the second you're hit, your ass is on the ground. You're like, oh shit,
Well,
it's time to go.
at least they like kind of changed it up there a little bit
Yeah, I
then.
mean, definitely a good change on that one.
I definitely enjoyed the needle aspect where I'm just running around, getting
Yeah,
heals like crazy, but
yeah,
you got
looking
to
like
change
you're a
it up.
noodle.
Yeah, dude, I mean, literally, I'd be in like a hallway somewhere and just picking up people like, get up, what are you guys doing? Just
Yeah,
hope you guys enjoy that. I hope you enjoy all of our little animations for you there. If you're listening and you're like, man, what are they doing? Head on over to YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe, comment below. No, you know the
smash
deal.
that
Yeah.
subscribe button.
No, but seriously, check it out. But yeah, I mean, it's cool when they kind of change stuff up because it makes you kind of relearn a little bit and not
Yeah,
feel as much like the same. I'm both a fan of having the shock paddles or just the medic, ability with everybody so that I don't have to worry about sacrificing certain guns, I guess. But uh like you said, it's kind of nice to have those classes that are a little bit more.
yeah, because all that's going to turn into is some YouTubers going to be like, hey, the M4A1 is the meta gun. That's all that anybody's going to use. No longer is it like, hey, this is the best submachine gun, best assault rifle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the but Yeah, but the thing with that is, at least it won't be like where attachments are going to matter too much. You know what I mean? It's not going to, I mean, they're going to matter. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, it's not going to be like a Call of Duty mattering. Like you have to get the snake wrap with the 4x scope, with the suppressor, with the front, the SWAT team front foregrip. You know, like I don't feel
Yeah,
like it's just going to be like it gives you a little bit, takes away the horizontal or the vertical sway. It'll give you a little bit more stability. It's not
yeah,
going to be as heavily focused on like the perfect combination. But yeah, there's definitely going to be those guns. But I mean, you're always going to get that. One of the things, I mean, I noticed though, with that conversation is sniper rifles. There were some sniper rifles that, man, they hit good, but it's a very timely. You're not going to be quick scoping out here, right? And then
yeah.
there's those other ones that are kind of like your Car 98s, where you're going to be able to scope in a little bit quicker, but you want to make sure you're adjusting. But the thing about like Battlefield is like the quick scoping aspect, it exists, but it's not what you would think. It's
It's
harder
not
to
what you
do
know
from a
it as.
distance because you're having to adjust for that drop on the fly, and if people are moving around, it's not as easy.
Yeah, no, for sure. You're definitely gonna be
People
sitting there. Yeah, I know, dude. It's like they know you're watching them every time.
but
Because the guy will be sprinting for 10 minutes and then he'll just stop behind a rock. And it's like, why do you stop?
yeah,
Like, did
which,
you just know?
which is also a great segue to my next point. Unlimited tack sprint and slide cancel.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
You have to have unlimited tack sprint. Are you kidding me?
For that size, 100%.
I'm man, I'm running 20 miles just to get to the other side of the map. You can't give me, you got to give me unlimited sprint.
Yeah.
And I've
This,
already seen some pretty sick videos with this, the slide cancel type stuff. So
yeah, you can juke some people up really bad.
oh, break your
Really bad.
ankles.
Yeah, especially if they have their sensitivity too high. Like I've been messing with mouse and keyboard players because you can tell because they're trying to snap
Oh yeah, yeah.
and you just like slide under the corner and then they try to snap and then you slide again. They're like, shit.
What is going on?
Oh dude. Yeah. I have found LMG is my gun.
Hell
It
yeah,
is my
dude.
gun. I've been popping off at range on that thing. Like I was standing on top of the tower shooting the runway, killing
Oh no.
people.
So do you have a favorite gun then? Definitely the LMG. And then
Yeah. Well, I'll say it's my favorite class. Hopefully we get into more guns.
hmm. Yeah, I know you didn't get too far into it, but definitely cycling through all that stuff while you got the opportunity and checking it out.
Yeah, and the marksman rifle slapped pretty hard too. The only problem with it is if you like to be in the chaos, it's probably not a good thing to have.
Yeah, I could see that. I know I heard some people complain about its damage. It wasn't as good as some of the other weapons, but that could also be one of the marksman rifles. I don't know
Yeah.
exactly how they have that, but well, another thing before we close up on Battlefield, guys, if you are used to dropping in and pulling your shoot last minute on Call of Duty, that is not going to be the thing to do for Battlefield. It is, yeah, it does take longer to pull your shoot, and you will get fall damage. So
Yeah.
just be prepared for that. Also, if you guys are in the storm, you can get hurt. Some people are like, oh, you can't get hurt. This is nice. You can get hurt. There is lightning and stuff like that that can like hit you, and
Literal
it,
buildings flying around. I'm
yeah,
not even shooting
yeah. So you're
you.
definitely needing to prepare for some damage if you're in that tornado. It can happen quick.
Yeah, which by the way, I'd like to give a shout out to the developers for adding that. Like that's so crazy because I watched a building that I was blown up with a rocket launcher. And then that tornado that I was telling you guys about came rolling in, and I saw the tornado pick up the pieces that I had blown up.
That's cool.
Yeah, and
That's
I was just
cool.
like, okay,
Personally, a
okay.
lot of people, I feel like a lot of people didn't really like the tornado idea, but so far I think it's gotten some pretty good feedback. I think people enjoy it, and like you said, it's not overbearing. Like it's not like it's
Yeah,
happening instance.
Right, like it's totally random where it spawns, it looks like, because I was fighting on the tower and it was next to me one time, and then another fight I saw it off in the sea at a distance, and it finally made shore, like on the opposite end of the map besides the tower.
I mean, and we've seen stuff like this before, right? That sandstorm on Battlefield 1. It was, I mean,
The
they
sniper destroyer.
yeah, it's they're not strangers to having these natural disasters kind of happen, but they don't make it a point to be annoying. They want you to
Yeah.
enjoy playing, but they just want to kind of throw in a little mix too.
I think that one that you use an example might have been the most annoying one.
Yeah, it was, but at the same time, you almost prayed for it because of these
Yeah.
snipers on that map.
Yeah, dude, that was insane. And there was that one on Battlefield 5 where like a monsoon rolled through, and I remember seeing a video of a dude trying to snipe, and the monsoon's wind like curved a bullet to the right.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I was like, damn, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's always cool that their development team and the people are just like thinking of new creative ways to like entice people to check out the game and keep things interesting. So I'll be interested to see how on different maps something like that storm will become effective. Like my biggest one is that big sand map,
Yeah,
the big downtown. I want to know how that gets affected because those are some
dude,
big maps or
with
big
this
towers.
with the stuff they're doing now, because it's a sandstorm, right? But it's
Hmm.
like way more dense. How much you want to bet that when you start that map, that downtown area is like streets, and then as soon as the sandstorm rolls through, now like you're blocked into buildings, you're having to navigate.
That'd be
That'd be
crazy.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
I'm so all in on this game and very intrigued. And so I'm hoping that we're gonna figure out some more stuff and we're going to see more of this beta as we go on. But by the time you guys are getting this on Friday, I'm hoping that you guys are already, playing this early access. But if not, dive into it today and you know go check it out or at least go watch some stuff on it because for a company that we've really been waiting on to release a game, it really seems like they've delivered. There's going to be bugs. That's the whole purpose of a beta. Now part of the purpose is also marketing. They're just kind of helping give people a little taste. It should already be close to being in full form, but
Yeah,
at the same time, this is a way for them to see little bugs and little tweaks that they need to make. So
right.
go out there, make sure you guys are checking that game out. But let's go ahead and transition. We've got to get into a couple of other things. Now we're a little bit behind on this update, but I just still want to bring it up, guys. If you haven't noticed, Valheim has released their first big update that is Hearth and Home. This is going to be an update. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Me and Jeremy have talked about getting into Valheim since this update. Jeremy's played a little bit of it and got to experience it. So by all means, if you want to dive into a little bit of what you've experienced, go ahead. But we got
Yeah.
some other stuff that we want to get into as well. But for those of you, did you have anything you wanted to start off talking? We'll go ahead and I'll get into some of these updates and kind of explain to you guys exactly what has changed. But I mean, getting back into this game, you've already been into it once before. I mean, how did you feel just re-uploading and diving into a new world?
The game was hard as hell all over again.
Yeah, I know that you made the mistake of thinking it would be fun to recreate and start from ground zero.
Yeah, I made a whole new character and everything. Huge mistake.
How long that last?
It lasted about 4 hours, and once I was on the fourth hour in, and I still hadn't had a home or anything, I said, "Screw this." So
Came back with your wolf
yeah, I
pelted
came back with the
armor, and
wolf
you're just,
pup.
I will build my home here. Don't worry, I
Right?
already have logs. You're just
Yeah,
toting logs.
dude. No, it was still hard though. Like that game did a good job of making sure that you will never be overpowered.
Yeah.
I had the best bow in the game, and yes, I was killing shit fast. but that did not stop how much stuff they're throwing at me and the resource collecting alone.
Yeah, they've definitely made it unforgiving. I mean, you will definitely struggle playing that game. And just expect that, but know that with more help always brings more reward. And sometimes it can bring more trouble, don't get me wrong, but it helps to have a good crew in that. So, again, it's Halloween season, spooky season. We are in the month of October, so guess what they got going on here? Let me go ahead and share this image with you guys. Hop on over to Facebook and you guys will see this. For the first time ever, they have implemented spooky Jacko turnips. That's right, people.
Oh, jeez.
Those are a thing. I mean, look at that beautiful thing right there.
Oh
Is
man,
that
that
not
is so awful.
so cool? That's so cool. Not a jack-o'-lantern, but a Jacko turnip. So you got that to look forward to. But a couple of other things. I'm going to speed through some of this, but we're going to have seed drop rates, gamepad sensitivity, and animation fixes. So those are going to be some of the buggy things that they are going to increase and kind of tweak a little bit. And so what do you mean by that? Well, let me kind of dive into that for you. Basically, they're going to rebalance the food system. This is going to be kind of good news, bad news sort of thing. So there's going to be some things that go into this, like timers on all food item slots. This is actually something that I like because one of those things that would always bug me is you have like 3 food slots at the bottom, you fill them with food, you eat, and then eventually they just kind of fade away. And then you're kind of, God dang, I wish I would have known to prepare. Now you can. Now there's going to be a timer on all those slots so that you can keep track. Now, that's a positive, right? Well, now they've implemented to make things even harder, I guess, if you will. Now you'll have to choose between health foods marked by a red fork icon in your inventory, or stamina food, which is a yellow fork, and then there's a hybrid food, which is white. So what this is going to be able to do for you is you can focus on stamina if you want to just hack away gray dwarves. You can basically choose to be more of a tank character, prioritizing health foods and using like a shield. And so you can basically just kind of choose which way you want to play during that time, depending on what you're eating. And before, it used to be you could eat 3 of the same thing, or whatever, or 3 different kinds of foods, and it really didn't matter. And so now it kind of does. You want to. This is also what's going to make important for farming, to make sure that you're getting the right kind of foods. Kind of making sure that when you're walking by bushes, oh, do I need this? Oh, do I need that? And really prioritizing your scavenging. There's going to be new recipes to cook now because they're implementing new types of things to grow or to harvest, get new materials, new things in different biomes. And so let's say you eat something. You're walking through this journey and you get a bunch of health foods. You're like, man, I wanted stamina. What am I going to do? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to pick up this newly implemented berry. It's called the book berry. Okay, what is a book berry? I'm glad you asked, because basically, whenever you make the mistake of eating something you didn't necessarily want, a book berry can help, because what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to puke up the food that you have, and basically empty your stomach and replenish it with what you meant to take. So fun little, new berry that they've kind of added to the game. There's going to be some typical stuff you guys are going to expect with any kind of new big update with a game like this, and that's going to be new weapons and shields. You're going to get new building items like cages, cartography tables, crystal walls like windows, basically these are going to be like stone golem drops. You're going to get darkwood building pieces, obliterator, Viking hot tub. What? Yeah, you heard that. Viking hot tub. That's a thing. So, what purpose that serves, I'm eager to find out. But one of the biggest things I'm excited for, and Jeremy, maybe you can back me up on this. I swear on everything, when I first played this game, I said that they should make this a thing, and they did. Head on over to the plains biome, and now you can have lox mounts. Those big buffalo looking things. Go tame one and hop on it.
He did say that. He did say that.
Back me up. You know it's true. I wouldn't lie to you guys. Lox mounts, man. How crazy cool is this? While you're dodging death skeetos, while you're dodging little goblins, while you're dodging all this crazy stuff that's coming at you, hop on a lox mount and check it out. And speaking of the plains, there's going to be new tar material that you guys can find. They've kind of made it a mystery. They don't want to just outright tell you. So they basically, it's going to be something used for darkwood, and it's going to be found in the pits. So just be wary for what comes out of the pits in the plains. So that is all my news and updates for Valheim. So Jeremy, if you have anything to add from any experiences that you had playing or just in general with the game itself and the update, whatever you may have it, that's all I have. But I personally am planning on diving into this game. For those of you that don't know, I'm really sorry to do this at the end. I need to get better about this. But Valheim is a game that is like Minecraft, and where it is a sandbox so that you dive into with friends, you build, gather, fight, and explore. And you are kind of taking place in a Viking-like world where there's a lot of, I guess, things that you would expect, if that makes sense. Like the enemies is kind of like Norse mythology, right?
Yeah.
And so expect some cool stuff like that. The game is actually really beautiful, and it kind of takes you back to a time of like old PS2 style game. Older graphic looking, but I mean it's still good graphics, but it just has that older kind of cool vibe. What I basically mean is, your old Spyro games or Crash Bandicoot. I mean,
hexagonal.
Yeah, you're hexagonal, I guess you could say. So
Oh no, I just made that up.
Yeah, he made that up. I just went with it to help, support my friend. No, but go check that out if you haven't already. It's been out for a few weeks, but this is an update that is worth checking out. Was there anything that you wanted to add about Valheim and some of the new updates that have been, or anything you wanted to add with the new update that's been dropped with Hearth and Home?
Yeah, man. I mean, the game is still good as ever. I haven't really dug into the creativeness of it all, but I will say it's just, I felt right back at home right from the place that we left. It's not one of those games where it's like, oh, dude, I got to restart everything, because you get to take your character over.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I love that aspect of it. That's what really separates it from games like Minecraft. I feel like you don't feel like you're always starting anew. You can just hop your player over from world to world.
Right. And whenever we were texting back and forth, did we figure out if the worlds went with the updates, or do we have to create a new world? You remember?
I don't remember. That's something I can look into while you kind of just talk about.
Yeah, because I would just hate, because dude, you built so much cool shit, and it would just suck to be like, okay, let's delete it. We're on to the next one because of the update. But no, with everything going on, like I do kind of feel back to being new. Like I don't remember what the meta styles are, So
Yeah.
I am terrified of running into his death skeetos.
No kidding, dude. I hate death skeetos. It does appear that Valheim on Twitter said that some updates will most likely need new worlds. Unfortunately, that was something that they wanted to get rid of, but it said when new updates release, new to existing biomes, we will have to create new worlds and characters.
Yeah. Which I mean, it's all good. It does suck, but think of it like this, they're adding cooler crafting stuff.
And I'm excited to check out the Darkwood feature because I always said that what would make the game even more exciting is different kinds of woods or different kinds of elements to build with.
Yeah. Well, you're definitely the type of guy to figure it out. I just like to punch shit.
Yeah, I'm more of a builder. I mean, hence why on my old world that we played and streamed on for a while, I just got lost in that. Unfortunately, I didn't even have. I think what did we get to the second boss? Yeah, we beat the second boss, the tree
Yeah.
boss.
Yeah, we
And
were going to
we
the
were trying.
swamp.
Yeah, we were going to the swamp, but we spent so much time building. But I enjoy that part. I mean, it
Yeah.
is what it is.
Maybe for the next time, since we gotta wait for Darkwood anyways, we just push through every boss and just set up outposts. And then when we get to the plains, sorry, when we get to the plains, that's when we set up like the base.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because that's the final boss anyways.
Hmm.
So that's probably something that we should do. That way we just don't get lost in it.
I mean, we were playing around in the mountain biome, which is after swamp.
Yeah. No, I mean we didn't like we went to the plains. It's not like we missed out on doing stuff in that game.
Right. It's just really easy to die, guys. If you are playing this game in for the first time and you're questioning, oh, maybe I should go check out the plains, it is not a place to go to beginning. I'm so serious. You will lose all your shit.
We went on a whole week crusade just for Trent to get my stuff back while I was at work.
A week. I'm so not joking about that.
Yeah. All because Trent saw these cool little dudes off and on the island. He's like, oh shit, check this out. Hops off, dies. I panic trying to get away in the boat. Some random bug comes up and zaps my ass to death. Yeah.
So yeah, go check that out, guys. I highly recommend that game. That game is really well done. It's made by a small studio and they're doing a really good job keeping up and updating that game and keeping more content coming at you. So definitely worth looking at. To wrap things up on this episode, I want to dive into one final game. It's the hottest game out right now. Many of you guys know about it because it's either melted your GPU or it has left you sitting at home waiting to join into the lobby for 5 hours and you got into it and it was every bit worth it. And that is the new game, New World. Huge hype around this game. I'm going to mainly hand this one over to Jeremy. He's already gotten some time into this game. There's some really beautiful aspects to this game that I really enjoy, that kind of sets it apart from other MMOs. And yeah, it looks really good and I'm excited to see more on it. So
yeah, first I'd just really like to applaud the developer for putting this game out for $40. Like it is the top game in the world right now. It's steamed graphics, huge MMO, and it's $40. Most games we pay $60 and we play it for 2 weeks.
it was $50, correct, for the deluxe edition?
Yeah, for the deluxe edition, it's only $50. But I will say, if you're not into skins and everything, it's not really worth it because you're probably going to spend money elsewhere in the game. But $40, man, gets you in it. You play it. At first, queue times are really bad. I actually one time waited 6 hours to get into the game in my server.
They even added more servers, right? They were like,
Yeah.
oh, we understand there's a lot of people trying to play. We're just going to add more servers. And it's still that bad.
Well, so actually, no. The past 3 times I've logged on to New World, I've gotten in no queue time.
Oh, that's good.
So it's either like enough people have fallen off because of the queue time, or they decided that they didn't want to play MMO, because I mean, once an MMO is released for a week, it dies down pretty hard. But that's just the natural path of the MMO.
So, Jeremy, if queue times are ever bad, why don't I just take my character to a different server?
Well, so you can't. That is kind of the sacrifice is you can only have one character per server. And most people got so far on their first playthrough, they don't want to just scratch over and start anew. But however, they're coming out with, I want to say a week ago is 2 weeks, and they said that they'll give you one free server switch to like link up with your friends in a less polluted server, this and that.
That's nice,
Yeah,
especially for those guys that got into the few servers before it expanded.
yeah. Well, dude, like, oh, what kills me is day one of this game, I jumped in the server that had 0 people in it. And now the server that I picked, which is K Patia or however you want to pronounce that, is number 2 in the most popular list for servers.
Oh no, what are the odds?
Right? But dude, like, as much as I hate waiting that long, that game is so cool, man. It is so much fun.
So, what if I run into another Toxic Jedi?
Beat his ass. But no, I had to go with my Valheim name on New World, and it is Gunner. My
Oh, okay.
character's name is Gunner.
Well, what I was trying to squeeze out of you is that there's only they only allow one name that
Yeah,
you're now granted somebody can throw a one or two on the end of it, but
right.
that name is your name. That is the only if somebody has that name and it's on a different server, you decide, oh, I'm gonna go to that server and you try to type in your name, there's only everybody only gets the one name. You can't
Yeah,
so
everyone's name is unique, which is pretty cool. We've seen that in games before, but it does make it frustrating when you have like this super cool name like Toxic Jedi.
or XX420 Sniper XX Dragon Slayer XX.
You know someone's got it.
Hell
you know
yeah.
someone's got that. But no, man. I mean, it's all right. I went for like more of the role playing aspect, and I called my guy Gunner. I
That's fair.
imagine, yeah, I imagine when you load in, it'll be Ragna,
Ikvar,
Ikvar.
Ragnar, or Ikvar. Those are my go-tos.
Right.
So game looks good. I mean, I from what I've seen, it looks really beautiful. They've made it to where it kind of has to look beautiful if you're wanting to play, which is the only downfall. It's one of those that's going to require your GPU to be top
Yeah.
notch. But if you are able to get into this game, there are some really cool aspects to character building and character progression that I noticed. One of the
Mhm.
biggest things I noticed was that no matter what you are, you have access to everything, right?
Yeah.
There is no they kind of separated that. No longer do you have to be a healer or you have to be a DPS or something like that. Everybody has access to that. Everybody has access to all weapons. It's just in the manner in which you upgrade those particular weapons or the manner in which you upgrade your person and how you place your skill points or your progress and how you progress certain stat lines that'll kind of determine how your player turns out, correct?
Yeah. I actually, in a weird turn of events, did not build a tank this time. Uh, do
That's my
well,
mic drop.
it's it's honestly kind of a sad reason. I want to build a tank because the dungeons look so cool in that game. But I have just become so defensive in the PvP of that game that I have had to make like a really strong DPS class. Because PvP on that game will get you so butthurt.
I've heard that it is one of the sole reasons people play
Yeah.
is to go around. But if you are deterred from that, there is an option to turn PvP off, correct?
Yeah, yeah, you just turn it off, and the only thing you suffer from it is you don't get as much experience playing with PvP turned off. But if you're someone who's really like high anxiety because of that, it's worth it. Whenever I go to collect logs or stone, I actually turn off my PvP. But I'll tell you what, dude. If I catch a covenant, if I anybody who ain't part of that green gang, I'm smoking you on the spot. I promise you that, bro.
So explain the three factions to me, because
So
so from what I have heard, if you guys are playing with other people, it really does not matter. You don't need to team up with anybody until you reach level 20, because at level 20, that is the point in which is it level 20, right? That is the point in which you choose your faction.
no, so I actually haven't even hit level 20 yet.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You pick your faction pretty fast,
Okay.
actually. Like probably level 6 or something like that.
So what is it? You pick your faction and then you pick your because I don't know. For some reason I was thinking it was like level 20, but maybe
Level
I'm not.
20 is like where your dungeons start opening up.
Okay.
I
But what
mean,
are the
that's
three factions?
so you have Marauders, which is Green Gang. You have Covenant, which is yellow. And then you have purple. Oh, man, they're so dumb. I don't even remember their name. And yeah, you know what? Screw you guys. You guys are trash. Because in my server, purple has the most territory. But that's besides the point. You guys literally only picked that team because some streamer told you to. And
Syndicate.
you're not original. Yeah. Syndicate nerds. I like reading books. Shut up. No, you don't.
You magic.
Yeah. Well, it's not even like really magic. That's what kills me. So Marauders, their whole point is the strongest will survive, and that's how we're going to purify the island, right?
Yeah. The
Well,
ruthless military base
yeah,
type.
right. Syndicate, all they care about is learning the dark magic and then abusing it. Lame. You guys are the bad guys. Covenant, they're like the church and struck on like this holy path to just eradicate everything unholy on the island, which is kind of a cool
Yeah,
stance
that's kind of
too.
a cool. Yeah. I'm looking at some descriptions here, and it says the Syndicate is a secretive organization of boundless guild and guile and intellect.
Yeah, well, lame.
It says the Covenant is a fanatical order that has charged itself with cleansing, the world. And then the Marauders are the ruthless military force bent on establishing a free nation where anyone with strength to do so can prosper and profit.
See, capitalism.
Yeah. So, so yeah, some cool factions to kind of
Yeah,
choose between, and there's different aspects to this game. You're gonna have dungeon crawling, as you mentioned. You're gonna have just gathering and building. It's not gonna be like a sandbox builder, right? It's gonna be more of you have different houses and you can kind of decorate the inside of them. You can kind of have
right.
your clan hideout. You can kind of purchase certain houses within there or whatever.
Yeah,
And then it's going to be there's some PvP aspect, and then there's also all out warfare where you're going against whole faction versus faction type stuff, or even small little isn't there some like smaller warfare based stuff.
yeah. So that game is really cool about that stuff. So here's the different levels. You have just your normal PvP encounters, where it's like if two players have their PvP turned on different factions, they just you'll be running to do a quest and you'll see like a group of just 6 dudes in a circle and 2 dudes are just fighting to the death in the middle of it.
Not like this.
Yeah,
Stop.
like they'll post in the chat, dude, fight club at so and so place. Bam. And then you'll see dudes, and it's like Dark Souls. It's an honorable 1v1.
So what is your risk then if you die? Because I've heard that it can be a little intimidating if you allow yourself to die.
If you die a lot, yes. But if like you turn on PvP to get some extra XP and you just die, the only thing you lose is armor and weapon like health. That's it.
Okay, so you don't really have to worry about losing your gear.
No, you don't lose any gear, you don't lose any inventory, you just lose durability.
So I know that there's also some missions though where you have to go fight bosses. Now, if you die to them, is there a bigger penalty?
I don't know. I haven't died yet.
Okay, because I have slight flex, slight flex. Because from what I was looking into, I know that they will kind of die. That that once you die, it'll give you a set places that you can spawn if you've set like a spawn point where you can
Yeah,
be nearby
campsite
if you need
or
to go back and try to grab some stuff.
yeah. But to be clear, I have died to other players. I have. But no, anyways, to get back to my pyramid here. So we have your normal PvP, right? Just one on one. Well, if your faction, because you have faction chats where it'll pop up in your like faction's color, letting you know. And it comes from okay, so you have your factions. I'm with the Marauders, right? I am a subdivision of the Marauders with the Jayhawkers because I'm from Kansas.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, we're obviously don't have a lot of people, but right now, people from Colorado, I think. So you have territories, and in those territories, you have one major city, right? Whoever's the biggest clan, they claim that town, and everywhere through that territory has their banner on it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and if you're part of that clan, it says, Windhelm owner. And I know that's from Skyrim, but you know what I mean? Like it identifies that.
Mhm.
Well, also in the same area as the city, there's a fort, and it's just like Elder Scrolls Online, dude. It is 100%, but it's just in the normal world. You don't load into anything. Roll up on that fort, and if an enemy faction's like, yo, let's hit this fort, we're gonna take this shit, this territory's ours, they come pulling up with catapults, and your team has to rush there to stop them before they capture the flag.
Oh, dang. So it can
And
happen at any moment.
any moment, dude, like I'm sure there's a war going on right now. So if they successfully capture that flag and they fill their bar all the way up where they have enough influence in your territory, they can they'll set up a time from the leading faction of that group. So it'd be like right now the top covenant leader in my server is like the chicken smashers. And like the chicken smashers will declare war against the drunken beards. And then they bro, like it announces it. It's like, yo, at Saturday at 9 p.m. Central Time, this group and this group are having a war. Enlist now to defend your territory. So you're rushing and enlisting, and then that
Oh,
leader
yeah,
of the
sir.
faction, yeah, the leader of the faction will pick the 50 people he wants to defend the territory.
Oh, that's cool. So
And
it's like
then
when you get picked, you get that satisfaction, like, I will defend you.
right. And then that's when you'll see like those 50 on 50 ones that you're talking about where you load into a special map and it's just slaughter, dude. And the winner of that gains the territory, and it'll notify everybody in there that hey, the enemy faction won, so now your taxes on your house are higher. If you want to sell anything, the taxes are
What?
higher. Fast travel taxes are higher. You might want to retreat to another territory.
That's wild.
Yeah. And I mean, dude, it's so sick because taking the fort, like I got into defending a fort one time. And dude, I was just sitting on top of that tower with that musket, and I was like, pow, bro. And I was killing level 50s, bro. Like it you have to play this game. Like it's so crazy. The PvP on there is done so well that even if you suck, you want it. Like you want that fight.
Yeah,
Oh dude, they just
just a
do such a good
chance.
job. Yeah, because what's cooler than being summoned to defend your territory?
Yeah, like they put enough trust into you, think that on paper you look good enough that they're like, I need you on the front. Like I need you to help me defend. our faction. Like,
Right.
that's cool. That's got to be. I mean, just sitting there waiting for the acceptance is got to
Yeah.
be kind of crazy cool too.
Oh no, dude, like it lets you know, like me and Cody were playing and we're just running around because we're like lower level. And it's like, oh hey, by the way, the Covenant took your fort and they declared war on your territory. And I was like, oh, maybe I should start packing up my shit.
Yeah.
And then you'll see the faction leader, who's level 40 or above. We need to get the situation under control. These Covenant fucks don't know what's coming.
Oh shit.
And then then like an hour rolls by after that, and it's like Saturday 9 p.m. So and so and so and so are going to war. Enlist now. Like
Dang.
that's a system message. That's not faction leader.
Yeah.
And so, dude, and like when you go into town, like Covenant are there, Syndicate are there, everyone's enrolling in that war.
Oh wow. So you can see the people like, all right, sir, I will be there and I will put
Right.
my honor on your.
Oh, dude. Oh man. But I'll tell you what, one of the most fun parts about that PvP too is like, so the fort defending
Mhm.
isn't that isn't the part where you load in, right? So whenever we kicked the Syndicate out of our fort, seeing them hauling ass running back to the main town so we couldn't kill them, I saw a group of marauders that were laying down, because if you lay down, your like emblem's hidden and they can't see you. And bro, like right before they hit town, because I'm part of the pack of dogs just chasing them, bro. I'm just chasing them into town. Last second, 10 fucking marauders just get out of the bush and they're just like, bro, they're just like freaking out to
You guys
get
like
into the
baited
city
them.
walls. Yeah. Oh, it is so satisfying. Although my problem is not with the Covenant. My problem is with the Syndicate, though. And what's actually pretty cool about our server is we had a written, because your faction leader is whoever owns the highest company. So like this guy who has the most clan members, this and that, right? Posts in the Marauders chat, hey, because Syndicate was like dominating territories at that point. Like we had
Mhm.
two, Covenant had three, they had like six. And they're like, hey, we have a temporary uh like bond with the Covenant, so don't attack the Covenant in open space. And they know not to do the same.
Oh wow. So you're like creating treaties.
Yeah, like how cool is that? It is, man, like the level of that game is just insane. And the shit talking is nonstop.
Oh, I'm sure.
Nonstop. Bro, it's like man, after we beat the Syndicate out of our like in the war, so we took one of their territories, dude, it was crybaby sense all the time. Because as soon as they did that, I took my inventory and I put it in their land, so they had to pay more taxes to buy my like supplies.
That's hilarious. So it's like punishing them.
Yeah. So like if you lose a war, you don't really lose out on much, but you end up paying more for everything. Fast travel, buying goods, and even selling goods.
There's a little bit of that risk there if you just if even if you think you're strong enough, but you end up losing.
Yeah. Oh, dude, like when you get into that war, it's kind of a toss up. I mean, is your best guy on his top game, or is he having a bad day? Because that's going to tell you right there if you're going to win or lose the war.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah, sorry to go on that rant, but the PvP on that game is
no, that's good. I mean, that's a lot of the big stuff I wanted to know about. I mean, I wanted to dive into some of that, and that gives me a real kind of clear look at just that combat aspect of that game and just kind of some of the stuff you can expect.
yeah.
You know, just the the excitement surrounded about like, all right, let's go into town and go sign up and see if we can be selected in the war. I mean,
Yeah.
that's cool. So a couple other things we can get out of here. There's one big kind of aspect of the game that is pretty important, and you're gonna have to help me with this. It's what you use to fast travel. You can mine it and stuff like that. What
The
sorts of
Azeroth, nor
at
it's something like that. Like it's a little jars,
yeah.
Zoroth or something like that.
Yeah, I believe it starts with an A. Uh, but the biggest thing with that is I know that there's been some people that have kind of talked about how it has really benefited Azoth, how it's really benefited them to focus on mining more of that. There was one video I had watched. This guy said that the entire time he's been playing the game, he's fast traveled to every single uh, mission that he's had to do. And he's done that by just making it to where mining stuff gives him more Azoth, and everything he does just gives him an increased amount.
Yeah,
And because there is a lot of walking and traveling on that game,
yeah,
and so if you get kind of too engulfed into that, it can probably dry you out if you're doing too much travel and not enough combat or engagement. But one of the things that I know they implemented in order to balance that out is that there is a lot of like stuff that you can encounter, whether it be like little encampments or little towns or something like that, right? Or
yeah. Oh no,
eh,
there's plenty of
little
stuff to get
dungeons.
sidetracked.
Yeah. So I know that there's that, but something to keep in mind, Azoth is kind of a pretty, what seems to be a pretty important little item or piece that you can try to collect in that game that can really help you. Now, granted, you're going to be able to use this Azoth to reset your like skills and reset your weapons. I don't think they give you a whole lot of time to do that, but
Well,
like,
up until level 20, you can reset it for free.
okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, I don't think you get a whole lot of time. Maybe that's the level 20 I'm thinking of. But one of the things that you guys got to keep in mind if you are using this Azoth, it is simply based on how much you have in your inventory. So if you plan on fast traveling and you're going to use Azoth for it, empty your inventory. Go put that stuff away. You don't need to carry a whole bunch of stuff when you're fast traveling. That way it's cheaper on you, and then it doesn't feel like you're really spending as much of it.
Yeah.
So I that was one thing I definitely wanted to mention as well. But any other closing things you feel like is kind of important for people to understand when they're going to be diving into this game? I feel like within the next episode or so, we might be able to dive into more about this game as well. And as we kind of learn more and progress with it,
Yeah. Don't
I mean,
join the wrong faction.
yeah. Mm.
You're never going to know what you're going to walk into, is what I like about the server to server basis. I've seen so many other like streamer servers where marauders are just like owning the server. But currently in my server right now, we only own 2 territories. So there's probably some where Syndicate don't own any. So just don't bandwagon. Honestly, you're going to be in that server long enough, you're going to be able to pay attention to see where the biggest group is. And honestly, if you're not good at PvP, stick with the higher numbers. And I'm not even joking, because when you walk into those fights, it's going to matter when there's 20 on one team and 10 on the other. And if you're not good, you should probably be on the 20-man team. Because, dude, like, them fights get out of hand really fast.
Oh, I'm sure.
And especially with my abilities, I run a two-handed axe. And instead of like going for the big chops and stuff, my main abilities is to pull you in closer and to make it where you can't run away so my buddy Cody can murder you.
Yeah, no kidding. Very helps if you got a good squad. I mean, we know a couple of people that play this game, and one of my buddies has a faction of up to 10 people. So something like that can be very helpful for you whenever you're diving into a game like this, when you're rolling with a pretty good sized squad.
Yeah.
I did want to give a shout out. If you guys want any more information on this game and you want to just learn more about it, one video that me and Jeremy watched is you guys can go over to YouTube, and I just want to give this guy a shout out because his video helped us learn a lot about this game. His name is Pine. That's Pine from New World. That is going to be his YouTube channel. And go check out his video called The Ultimate New World Beginner's Guide. Everything you need to know about launch and beta. And so that was one of the biggest videos that really helped us one, helped Jeremy in deciding to officially buy the game. And I just wanted to give a shout out because it's a 30-minute video, so it could be a little lengthy. But if you're somebody that has the time to check out stuff like that, it's worth it. And I think Jeremy could attest that too, because he just very well breaks down everything you need to know in a very simple and understanding way. If you want all the little details.
And he talks about it from the from the viewpoint of someone who just started as well. So you're not going to get any real spoilers, and it's going to give you that like Trent said, I was on the fence about buying this game. That video sold me on it. And I'm really thankful, honestly, because I'm enjoying it better than Final Fantasy 14. And anyone who's listening that plays MMOs, that's a big statement, my guy.
Yeah. Yeah. So make sure you guys are going and checking out this game as well. I know that we didn't necessarily get as deep into it as maybe you might want to hear, but give us a shout out. Always feel free to post comments on YouTube and ask us questions, and we would love to answer those questions for you guys, and even give you some answers in some of the next episodes so that we can dive into more of that stuff. But you kind of got a little bit of a glimpse into this game, and Jeremy did a real good job kind of explaining what you're going to experience from the faction point of view, which is something that's going to be really exciting for all of you that are joining this game because you want that PvP aspect, or because you want that particular faction, house, base, whatever, fort that's going to help you feel like you have a home in this big world, and move on to conquer whatever you decide. But if you're going to play with Jeremy, the Toxic Jedi, make sure that you're doing that in the Marauders.
Don't be Syndicate, bro.
Yeah.
I'll let a few Covenants slide by. I'll be like, yo, what's up, guy? Just keep going. If I see purple anywhere on your name, bro, I don't give two shits. If you're fishing, I will punch you in the back of the head till you die. And I will take that fish
this
from
man's
you.
Angry. But all right, guys, well, we'll go ahead and get out of here. Before we do, I just want to say thank you again for your guys' support. Make sure you guys are heading on over to Anchor, Spotify, Apple, whatever you prefer to listen to us through, and keep up the support, because we really do appreciate it. And if you guys we would really appreciate you heading over to YouTube and giving us a like, comment, or subscribe. Smash that subscribe button. You know how it goes. And that just helps us kind of gauge our audience and continue to give you guys this good content. But with that being said, keep it short, sweet, and simple. I appreciate all of you. We look forward to diving into more of these games and these updates and getting some more stuff. But listen, go out there, play some Battlefield, go out there, play some New World. You guys got some new games that have officially dropped. So with that being said, thanks for coming and joining us on episode 16 of Dubkast. And we hope that no matter where you are or what you're playing, we can get you one step closer to clutching that dub. We'll see you guys. Have a good one.
Thanks for listening, guys. Have a good one.